So apparently, Epic Games is in the news in relation to controversy in regards to Fortnite. And the reason I say that is because there had been various, news outlets like USA Today, The Hill, that have that has covered that the Federal Trade Commission is issuing $126 million in refunds for those who were charged for unwanted items. And I believe this is something that you can read more about on the Federal Trade Commission's website. And players who feel like they were affected, apparently they will be able to file a claim until like July 9th, which I believe is the deadline. And the crazy thing about this is like Epic Games just had a nasty legal battle with Apple in relation to Fortnite being in Apple's App Store, which they won, by the way, because of course it ruled in their favor. And now, this comes out, and I guess it's just one of those things where I guess like Epic Games, even though like they seem like they were the good guy against Apple, I guess it got to a point where microtransactions and loot boxes and stuff like that is something that ended up plaguing a lot of people, and people were charged for stuff that they didn't want, or stuff that they didn't know was pretty much coming out of their bank account or pockets or whatever. And honestly, I feel like Fortnite, for the most part, even though it's still popular, it's not as popular as it was during the late teens. I believe the player count for Fortnite has been dropping over the past couple of years, especially as like the game has been embroiled in controversy. And not only that, it's been almost a decade since Fortnite was released, because I think Fortnite came out back in the summer of 2017. We're in like mid 2025, so it's been almost like 8 years since the game came out. And yeah, there are people who still love it, but then I don't know. I don't know, I just feel like recently, like, people have people have kind of been getting bored with it, and they feel like all these crossovers with different franchises, whether it be like Star Wars or Marvel or anything else. I don't know. I feel like it's just one of those things where like the crossovers themselves is pretty much the thing that is kind of keeping Fortnite relevant, opposed to the actual game and the gameplay and all that stuff itself. And a lot of people were hoping that we would get like a Fortnite 2 by now, or have like some kind of announcement from Epic Games about a potential Fortnite 2. But I don't know. I feel like it's going to be one of those deals where Epic Games is going to do everything they can to make as much money off of this particular game as they can. And yeah, I feel like this is something that's really not a good look for Epic Games, despite their legal victory over Apple. But at the same time, a lot of video game companies have been guilty of setting up in-game microtransactions and loot boxes that pretty much it pretty much is like charges players for unwanted items and stuff like that, or it tricks them into buying stuff that they really don't want. And yeah, I feel like it's a trend that's only going to grow within gaming. And you would think a lot of these companies would learn from each other and be like, yeah, this is not the way to go. Just give us good solid games with great DLC and with like high replay value and stuff like that, and everything would be cool. But it is what it is. I'm not exactly sure whether or not this is going to, harm the reputation of Epic Games or Fortnite for that matter. But I do see like the player count, decreasing as the year continues. And like I said, Epic Games is going to do whatever they can to make as much out of this game as they possibly can for the next couple of years. And most likely, we're going to get more crossovers for Fortnite sometime in the future.